Hello, it's Terry Ryder from Hotspotting. I've got a question for you, and I wonder how many of you would get the answer correctly. Which of the capital cities has had the greatest capital growth in percentage growth terms over the past 15 years? A lot of people might think that the answer is Sydney, given that media has been so obsessed with growth in Sydney prices and the affordability crisis in that city over the last 4 or 5 years. That market has been growing strongly. But in actual fact, according to some research published this week, Sydney actually comes last out of the 8 state and territory capital cities. Hard to believe, but it's true, because the research was conducted by the Property Investment Professionals of Australia, PIPA, using the Australian Bureau of Statistics house price indexes, was charting growth from 2002 till the end of last year, so a 15-year period. And while Sydney has had obviously very strong growth in the last, say, 4 years, prior to that, the 10 or so years preceding that, it had very little growth at all. In fact, over that 10-year period, Sydney was the great underachiever of Australian real estate, and then it burst to life around 2013 and had 4 years of strong growth. But if we're charting the growth that's occurred in our capital cities in house prices on average over that 15-year period, Sydney actually comes 8th and last amongst the capital cities. And which city came first? Well, actually, it's Hobart. Its prices have grown, according to this research, by 220% over that 15-year period. Second is Melbourne, with a growth of 208%. Darwin, which has been an underperformer, in fact, going backwards for the last 4 years, while Sydney and Melbourne have been going forward so strongly. But over the past 15 years, Darwin actually has been the third ranked city amongst the capital cities of Australia in terms of growth in house prices over that period. Brisbane is 4th, Perth, another underachiever over the last few years, but over the 15-year period, there's been a couple of major spikes in growth in the Perth market, and that's resulted in growth of 160% in their house prices over the 15-year period. So it comes in 5th, Adelaide 6th, Canberra 7th, and Sydney, as I said, last. Peter Kalizos, who is the chairman of PIPA, made the point, as I've just made, that while Sydney has grown very strongly over the last 4 years, over that 15-year period, has had very few growth years. And as he says, it did very little for the best part of 10 years before that recent growth spurt. So Hobart number 1 in long-term growth terms, Melbourne number 2, and Sydney last. Surprising results, but that's what the figures show. This is Terry Ryder signing off for now. Talk to you again soon.